Hey, what's going on? It's Brendan King from the Brendan King Group at Real, and this is your market update for August 4th through August 10th. Actually, we're going to check out 2 weeks in a row, July 28th through the 3rd, and also August 4th through the 10th. Reason being that things are just moving so fast that we feel like having a 2-week comparison is a little better for everybody than just showing you 1 week of data. July 28th through August 3rd, on average, 100% of list price was still received, and it had been for quite a while, with an average days on market of about 23, which that's been slowly ticking upward. Weeks of supply last week were 14.9 weeks. And the big one we're going to look at right now on this one is active listings at 7,175 and average weekly sale price of $580,499. So those are kind of the main points from July 28th and August 3rd. Now let's check out August 4th through the 10th. So average percent of list price received was 99%. Average days on market, it says they went up, but they actually went down from 23 to 22 days. And the weeks of supply went up from 14.9 weeks of supply to 22.6. What does weeks of supply mean? That just means the amount of time it takes to sell the current inventory based on the past week's average sales. So this is where it gets really interesting. So July 28th through August 3rd, the average active listings were 7,175. This week we're at 7,443. We've been going up by about an average of about 400 to 600 homes per week on the active listings. But the big thing that changed this week was weekly sales. Last week we were at 483 homes. Last year we were at 615 homes that same week. This year we're at 330. So when you take into consideration from 7175 to 7443 as far as total number of listings, and then you lower the weekly sales by nearly 150 homes, suddenly weeks of supply jumps up quite a bit. The thing is, that's really only based on 1 week of sales, but it's still a pretty solid indicator that there's a lot more homes on the market and there's a lot less homes selling on the market. And we see it. We definitely see it. We feel it. We see it. Listings of ours right now are looking more like what was 18 days. It's probably looking more like 45, 60 days, which I don't even think shows accurately just yet, because everything in real estate's delayed by 30 days. Whatever's happening today technically went under contract 30 days ago. And if you look, average weekly sales price this week was $551,040. Excuse me. Last week it was $580,499. And again, this is a week by week snapshot, but that's a pretty hefty change. We're starting to see a pretty good sizable amount of price reductions on the market. And what that's kind of doing is taking off that froth. Before, every time we listed a house, we were listing, 5%, sometimes even 10% above the last comp. One house would sell for $5, the next one would sell for $550 almost. It was just craziness. So a lot of that extra froth is getting shaved off the top. And we went from 26% year over year to 22% to 19 to 20% year over year. I think we'll start to see the year over year numbers start to trickle down to probably something a little closer to normal. What's normal? That's a question that everybody asks. A normal 100-year average is about 3 to 4%. Honestly, that's what we should expect in a normal, balanced market. Right now, I think we're getting there. We're getting close. We're getting very close to equilibrium, where it's the same benefit to a seller as it is to a buyer. As far as there are no benefits, it's equally beneficial to both parties. But for now, I have to admit, I think buyers have the upper hand. Sellers, a lot of them have 2.5, 3.25% interest rates on their home. So they're not looking to up to a 6 8% or 5.5% loan and upsize when they have such a great deal right now. And then people aren't moving because affordability is squeezed a bit. Not only inflation, but also at 5.5%. If you live in a $500,000 home, you want to upgrade to a 7. Now that's a pretty sizable jump if you have a current mortgage at 2.5 or 3. So say somebody who bought their home for 330 10 years ago, now that home's probably worth 750, and they have a mortgage of 1,900 to 2,000. If that same person wants to buy a house for $1 million, their payment's going to triple, not double, because of the fact that it's way, way, way higher now, and interest rates are higher. So it's interesting. It's an interesting time for sure. And buyers aren't just buying for the sake of buying because historic low interest rates. They're buying like in normal times because they have to. I just met with a seller the other day, Linda and I, and she's moving because they have some family scenarios where they have a lot more people in the house than they do rooms. So it's time to upgrade to a larger house. Those types of life moves will always exist and will continue to exist. And on the buy side, you know what? You can get some really great opportunities right now. Builders are seeing the fastest increase in inventory that they've ever seen in history. What does that mean? That means you could get some closing costs covered. Maybe you'll get a rate buy down from the builder. Maybe they're willing to push your interest rate down by a full 1%, or a 0.5%. That would be a rate buy down. Maybe they're willing to contribute toward upgrades. Base prices are actually even starting to come down on builders, which notoriously builders will not cut base prices, because then everybody else in the community that just closed starts freaking out and banging on their door. So they're quicker to let you do a rate buy down, or they'll possibly let you have money toward upgrades. I had one client recently that got $50,000 toward upgrades because they'd rather see them put the money toward that than cancel, of course. And they just have a lot of inventory right now, and they don't want to sit on it because every day they sit on inventory, it costs them money. And the more homes that get added, the more inventory, the more it costs them. So definitely on the buy side, you've got opportunities. You've got to have somebody behind you that's willing to negotiate, willing to go to the table for you and go to battle on these types of things. So definitely you need to not be scared to put the offers in sometimes below list price. What? Like we haven't seen that in a while, but we've had a good chunk of clients now getting offers accepted, pretty sizably below their current list price. And you know what? On the seller side, you just have to be careful. If you've built up all this equity the past 3 or 4 years, you've still got the equity. You just can't go crazy on the list price. We're still getting listings sold. We just had one sell at 1.3 million. We sold at 1.25, which is a really great number for that property. People are out there. They're buying. People still have to move. And on the sell side, if you need to capture that equity to either upgrade or move out of state, it's still a very good time to sell. It's just not insanity. You're not going to get 1 million offers, and you have to price accordingly. You can't price above the last closing. You've got to be intelligent about the traffic in the neighborhood, how many showings the current listings on the market have, and we do that research before listing always, and call the current active listings and say, hey, how's it been? What's going on? That's good data, good information we need to be able to price your home accordingly and intelligently. Either way, if you want this every week by text, don't forget to text MARKET to 702-553-1955. Text MARKET to 702-553-1955, and we'll text this to you every single week. Hey, it's a good time to buy and sell if you do it intelligently and with the right people on your side. On the buy side, there's some deals to be had. There's some money to definitely utilize to help you buy, whether it's closing costs or rate buy downs or upgrades with a builder. On the sell side, hey, your equity's still there. You can't forget that. Obviously, in order to capture equity, you have to sell. But I think those insane number times are gone. So you just have to be smart, make the place look good. You can't just slap it on the market now and get this insane number. You know, paint, staging, all these things that we could advise you on to make sure that you still get a great number, but you may not get the insanity number that was existing about 4 months ago. Either way, we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.